At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
Cleveland, what is up? Welcome to The Office, a show where three work buddies debate and discuss the top sports stories in Cleveland, around the country, sometimes around the globe. Quick reminder before we get started, you can join us too. Send us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, X, text or call the show at 216-260-3433. 216-260-3433. Got a good show for you guys tonight. I'm excited. I know it's the summer. I know the finals are here for the NBA. There's not a ton going on the sports scene at a macro level view, but when you dig into the nitty gritty, there's quite a bit. So we're going to hit some pro football, college football, basketball, talk Cavs. But before we get into any of that, Noah, Erik, how we doing, fellas?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I actually visited Detroit for the first time yesterday. Went and saw the Kendrick Lamar and SZA tour. It was an absolute blast. It was a Super Bowl performance. And listen, all of you Dome haters, you non-Brook Park Brown lovers, suck it up, because we need experiences like that right here in the land.
Hot take right off the bat. E, how about you?
Erik's ass is still muted.
Erik's muted. Noah, why don't you tell us more about Detroit?
No,
because I think it's kind of the armpit of America.
Oh, what I think of Detroit? Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was there was some nice development and stuff going on, but I didn't really see anything I liked. You think the Browns parking situation is bad downtown right now? We walked 2 miles from the closest parking garage that wasn't $60 effing to get to the concert to Ford Field. It was $80 for the garages next to the stadium. The Guardians and the Cavs don't do that. It's $20 to the connected lot still to this day. Cleveland, stand up. Not the armpit of America. At least we're not Detroit.
Well, wait till Brook Park, buddy. That's you're going to see those $80 parking. Why do you think they want to control it all?
That's a hard one for me. Listen, so let's say this hypothetically, they do the stadium in Brook Park and parking is $80. You just don't park, right?
No, you take the Rapid or something. There's not a chance in hell I'm paying $80.
There's a Rapid line right behind me. I just get up, walk my drunk ass down to the Rapid, and I'm good to go. So
I love the truth there. You're going to be drunk on the way to the Rapid, not let alone on the way home from the game.
And the Rapid. You got to have the on the Rapid beers.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. No shade. I was just saying I appreciate the honesty.
John, I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling since you didn't ask. Drinking your Shrek juice again.
I asked. You just were on mute. Yeah, and I'm the old man who doesn't know how technology works. Go ahead, Erik.
Fair enough.
Doing, buddy?
Fair enough. I'm glad you posted well today. Listen, I am such a conflict of emotions right now because on the one hand, I just saw How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. I was very pleased that it was all adults in there because I was worried I'd be the only adult. There actually weren't any kids, so that was cool. That was good. On the other hand, Noah's pissing me off today doing Noah things. But then I'm sad because, in your intro, you said we're 3 work buddies and none of us work together anymore. Noah had his last day yesterday, so I no longer have to see his face in the office, which, again, conflict of emotions. That's good and bad.
I love how you're mad at me for doing Noah shit, but this is the 3rd week in a row where you've forgotten to unmute yourself coming out of the intro.
I think
that's not true. Last time no. Last time you were supposed to unmute me, it just didn't work. So that's not on me or really on you. This time I will give you. I was so fired up at Noah having to eat ice cream and making us late that, I forgot to unmute because I was just ready to rock and roll into your ass. Time before that, who fucking knows? I don't know.
Pause, no Diddy on that. Rock and roll into my what? Anyway.
Diddy?
No Diddy. No Diddy.
Guys, speaking of, I actually want to get to sports real quick, but the other day Noah texted something and I had to Google it because I had no fucking clue what it meant. It was some, Gen Z bullshit. And it was a Kanye lyric. And I go, who quotes Kanye anymore? And this motherfucker immediately hits me back with, "Did you have to Google that?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, I did, but
too good, too good.
Let's turn some of this energy that we're working up for each other into something else that we could pour it into. First topic, like I said, we're going to talk college pro football, basketball, Cavs, but I want to talk a little college on the TV front. So we've talked before at the show about the fact that Fox Big Noon Kickoff isn't college game day, leaves a little bit to be desired or a lot to be desired depending on who you ask. And there's everybody from trolls on X and Instagram throwing pot shots to the state of Ohio thinking about passing legislation that says by law the Buckeyes don't have to kick off at noon if they're playing the top 10 opponent. So get the creative juices flowing and get some of the vitriol out into another topic instead of each other. What is your take on Fox Big Noon Kickoff? Does it suck? Why are we trying to get out of it? What are your thoughts? Erik, why don't you get us started since you're successfully off of mute?
Thanks. Throw that timer up there. I don't need it. Yes, it fucking sucks. This is the absolute worst thing. It's all about dollar signs. We know that. Splitting between the three means that the prime game would always go to that kind of NBC slot, and they're not getting any prime Ohio State games. The shoe is rocking more when it's at night. They should pass that law. I think it's ridiculous that Fox has this. Why can't Fox just move it to 8 p.m.? I don't care if you compete with ESPN or whoever. Ohio State's the draw. Like, let's just get it done.
Spicy. Thank you, Erik. I'll share my thoughts last. Noah, what do you think about Fox Big Noon Kickoff?
Yeah, it sucks. I think we're all going to have the same sentiment. It sucks to watch Ohio State for big games at noon. I didn't grow up watching it that way. I know sure shit both of your old asses didn't grow up watching it that way. But, you know, I could take this in a positive route. Why doesn't Fox just do big 7 p.m. kickoff? It doesn't rhyme as well or whatever, but like if you could still keep the primetime game, just air it at a normal freaking time. I don't know.
Two things.
I hate it.
Yeah,
big noon kickoff does not rhyme either. And John
rolls off the tongue was what I was looking for. My bad.
John actually is too old because they put in lights after he started watching football. So all he remembers is the big noon kickoff.
Ha ha ha. Hardy har har. Yeah, Noah, you can throw out my 30 seconds. I don't really disagree with either your takes, so I'll just spend my time correcting you. Lights were invented before I was born. But Noah, I did grow up watching Big Noon, whatever it was, because Big Ten football was almost always at noon. The Buckeyes played at noon, whether it was Michigan, even if we were ranked 1 and 2. So it is a little nostalgic. I think non-conference games, Ohio State versus Texas would be great in prime time. I kind of like the Buckeyes playing Michigan at noon, but overall,
that game wouldn't change.
Yeah, it might, especially if Michigan's ranked.
No, it's the law itself says specifically any game, a ranked team, except for the big game.
Oh, good.
So they carved that out as an exception. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that game 100% should be at noon. It's always been at noon. It always will be at noon. Leave it at noon. But when we get these big games, like the fact that Texas, Ohio State, the first game of the season is at noon just pisses me off because it should be a primetime game. It should be an event for everyone, not only in Columbus, but up here in Cleveland partying, all of Northeast, all of Ohio, because Ohio State fans, reach the whole state. The fact that it's at noon, I can't do noon football every day. It doesn't get me excited. I don't know if it's because I then parlay that into watching 1 p.m. football with the Browns, so I don't want to get up twice early and get the whole day going like that. I want one of my days to, laze around on the couch, and I don't know. Big noon kickoff sucks. I haven't heard a single fan, whether it be Ohio State or any of the other Big Ten teams, say anything other than Fox Big Noon kickoff sucks and it hurts the game.
It also cripples success because, Penn State gets their big whiteout night game. But the team that leads the Big Ten consistently, I say that knowing we lost to Michigan several years in a row, but the team that leads the Big Ten definitely in ratings and matchups consistently gets hampered because they're the good team. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to get to the point where the Buckeyes can play more primetime games. I hate the fact that it's always at noon. Noah, if getting up at noon one day and getting up at 1 p.m. the next day is your definition of getting up early, I have serious questions that maybe we could talk about on another podcast. But I understand the sentiment of what you're saying, even though noon isn't early to even not just old man. I think any man, but I'll let
you're
Even
taking
me.
it too literal. I mean the whole process of getting up, getting set up for football, whether that is a day where you're boozing for the game or doing a cookout for the game, or maybe you're even just sitting on the couch, like having that back to back is kind of more so, I guess, what I'm complaining about. And to me, you guys know my fandom. My fandom's going to go to the Cleveland Browns over Ohio State every time, just because that's how I was raised.
That makes sense. I do think that if the Browns can play at 1:00 on Sunday most of the times, that noon a lot of the times is okay. I mean, it's still the Big Ten. They did put Ohio State, Michigan in prime time when we were 1, they were 2. It was like game of the century, 42-39, I believe, final score. Excellent game, but that one was like an 8 p.m. kickoff. But for the most part, Big Ten football is played at noon or maybe 3:30. If we play Illinois, if we play Northwestern, if we play Purdue, give it to me at noon and I can watch Alabama, Georgia at night or whoever the big game is of the week. But I'm with you. If we're playing a top 10 team, at least give me like one of those 5, 6, 7 p.m. kind of slots, if not 8 o'clock. But yeah, Ohio State, Texas in the horseshoe at noon seems a bit early, especially for folks out west and in the other time zones.
But give me Gus Johnson in prime. That man alone deserves a prime time slot for our games.
Let's keep it super short. No take. Just say love him, hate him. Gus Johnson. I've heard a lot of stuff on both sides. I'm a love him guy, but
who hates him?
Noah, what do you think?
Gus Johnson's super the, oh my God, Jeremiah and Jigba into the touchdown, right? The guy who speaks. Yeah, no, I love him.
Yeah.
He's really good. I think he's really good.
There's
Maserati Marv.
Yes, that was what I was trying to get at.
He has some bad nicknames sometimes, but he's one of the best to do it. I can't believe there's haters out there.
I love him. Yeah. The world famous Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yes, you guys are doing my horrible analogy of him justice now in the back end. So
or your impression. And John, you did give us that where he came up with the world famous, which is so cool.
The Jesse Owens?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically for those of you who weren't tuning into that episode, it's like a nod to Black history because when Jesse Owens was burning up all the track records back in the day, he's Ohio State Buckeye or Ohio State graduate. And word of Ohio State spread literally worldwide because Jesse Owens was a Buckeye grad. So thank you for the shout out, E. It's one of my favorite sports stories. Anything else before I keep us moving? Love it. Let's roll. Before we get to the water cooler, I want to remind you that our show tonight is brought to you this time and always by our friends at D&D. Oh, struggle bus. There it is. D&D Meadery. I'll hold up too because I think Erik drank his last one and is waiting for a shipment to come in.
This is facts.
Twin brothers Derek and Dominic right up the road in Madison rekindled the long lost art of making mead. It's excellent stuff. You've heard us talk about mixing it, cooking with it, drinking it straight, drinking it on the rocks, all the different wonderful flavors they have. Still got to get one of the maple ones. Haven't tried that out yet, but had the blackberry and got the honey wine here. Those were both excellent. And don't forget, if you order, word is spreading. I'm seeing this stuff everywhere. You can get 5% off if you buy 2. They go fast. I would think about it if I were you because you're going to drink the first bottle down really quickly because it's that good. If you order with our code @the-office CLE, @the-office CLE, been telling you since we got the sponsorship, we're going to change it. Nobody's changing it. It is what it is now, but use the code, get 5% off, get your free shot glass, and don't put it in the dishwasher, and you will have a wonderful evening. Thank you to D&D Meadery for the sponsorship. And now let's keep it pushing, gentlemen. Aaron Rodgers, for those of you who didn't know, has finally signed, and it was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as predicted and anticipated by many. But Aaron Rodgers has kind of a checkered past. He gets all of these wonderful accolades, but he only won 1 Super Bowl. He's kind of a journeyman at the end of his career, even though most of his career was the Packers.
A
Didn't play all
journeyman.
that. Yeah, at the end of his career.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, 3 teams in 3 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a journeyman, but keep going.
Journeyman, journeyman's a stretch, but we're arguing semantics.
I think we're arguing semantics, Erik. It's semantics.
Stay in the
Tell me
middle,
whether or
John.
not you think Aaron Rodgers
Yell at me in the
signing
middle
with
of the
Pittsburgh
screen.
Steelers is actually going to make a difference. What do you think about him signing in the black and yellow?
Wait, who's starting?
Noah.
Go for it. Oh, okay, I'll go for it. It doesn't concern me whatsoever. His face value stats look great. 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. There is a fantastic analytical stat created by ESPN in 2011 that a lot of people swear and die by. It's called QBR. Have you guys heard of QBR?
Never.
For those who don't know what QBR is, it's total quarterback rating. It's a proprietary stat. It includes fumbles and taking a sack and the length of throw, everything. It includes everything and then some, and is broken down to a number. Aaron Rodgers' QBR last season and that entire season with the Jets was 48. You know where that put him?
30.
25th in the league. He'll be cool.
How many Browns
right.
were after him?
I'm not talking Browns right now. We're talking the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. He'll look good. He'll have some yards. They'll go 9-7. They'll lose in the first round again, or they'll go 8-8 and not make it 8-7. Whatever. You get what I'm saying.
More.
It doesn't scare me.
9,
It doesn't scare me on the basis of it's the same Pittsburgh Steelers team that we faced the last couple of years. So the confidence does not fluctuate whatsoever.
I disagree.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead, E.
Well, first of all, I think there's something that came out of minicamp that we have to touch on immediately. Aaron Rodgers is married. Did you guys see this? He got married. He's been married for months. Nobody knew. Nobody knows who his wife is. All these publications are trying to figure it out. I'm sure there's got to be a marriage license, right? Unless he did some secret dark treaty thing that
which is possible.
Split their finger and stamped it on an envelope and then burnt it while smoking ayahuasca. Whatever that does.
But the fact that he's married and nobody knows, and I'll be willing to bet that his own family probably doesn't even know who his wife is, knowing him.
Oh, he's a weirdo, man.
That is insane. That said, based on that stat, things are going to go well for Pittsburgh this year. Here's my take. This is a changed man, fellas. He doesn't have to worry about tabloids breaking up with the girl that was in Secret Life of American Teenager. Can't think of her name. He doesn't have to worry about, this girl, that girl. He is married. She's going to be home cooking for him in Pittsburgh. She's a yinzer. I'm making that up. I don't know who she is. But here's the thing. His stats last year, I get the QBR stat, but his stats were nearly identical to one Josh Allen. Nearly identical yards, same touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, couple more interceptions. The man can still sling it, and he now has more weapons around him, and he has a defense. What Pittsburgh has needed is what I've said for years that the Browns have needed, and that's a game manager. They need a guy that's not going to go turn the ball over, that's going to make smart decisions with the football, doesn't need to be Tom Brady in his prime or Aaron Rodgers in his prime. That's not what they need. This guy can still go and make the throws. I'm calling them as a second-round playoff loss. I think they will make the playoffs. I think they'll get over the hurdle of the first round, assuming how the matchups fall. Where I don't have them better than the Ravens. I don't have them better than Buffalo. I don't have them better than KC. The AFC is tough, but I think they're a playoff team.
I want to know what Josh Erik. I don't think that I agree 100% that we had a conversation on this show either last week or the week before. We basically said, the Pittsburgh Steelers a threat? And I think Erik and I said yes, because they're always a threat. And Noah kind of said no, poo-poo, they're going to stink. And I was like, they've never had a losing record. That was all true before they got Aaron Rodgers, who isn't maybe the old Aaron Rodgers, but he's better than whoever was playing quarterback each of the last few years in Pittsburgh. So if you think about the whole can they win 9 or 10 games just because they got Tomlin and a good defense, that has to get at least a little bit better. So that 9 to 10 for me goes to 10 to 11. If the Steelers win 11 games, they're absolutely in contention. They can beat the Ravens in the division, although I wouldn't bet on it. They certainly can compete in the AFC, and I think the same thing. With Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, and that defense, this is a team that makes the playoffs and wins their first playoff game, and then from then we'll see what we get.
John, you just said that Aaron Rodgers is better than whoever's played quarterback for the Steelers the last couple of years. Aaron Rodgers QBR, say it with me now, 48.
No, we're not going to play this game because he played this
Russell
QBR.
Wilson.
He had this
Russell
QBR
Wilson's
with a
QBR is 51.3. Stats matter, bud.
He also played on the Jets.
No, your QBR in high school was 111. Does that mean you should start for the Steelers? No.
No, we're not talking about high school. We're talking. And again, you're going to.
They suck.
The Jets, right?
John gets real close to the camera making a point.
No, I'm scratching my leg. I got bit by a mosquito freaking thing. But anyway, go ahead.
The Jets, who you guys said had less weapons than the Steelers. Tell me who the second wide receiver is for the Steelers behind DK Metcalf.
Don't want to.
Why? Because you can't do it and it's a good point?
No, I want to hear your point. I don't want to play guessing games.
Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, who has chemistry with Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. We had Breece Hall, who is a damn good running back in the Jets. They had a solid offensive line, and I think it was Tyler Conklin was still their tight end, who is a little worse than Freiermuth, but like tomato.
So Aaron Rodgers had what everybody says is a Hall of Fame career for like 15 years, played for the Jets and forgot how to play football. Now he just sucks. That's your take.
He's old and tore his Achilles.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I remember that happening.
Did you just say that the Jets' offensive line was good?
He did.
I thought it was good. If I'm wrong, then please tell me I'm wrong.
There's nobody on the Jets is good. It's the Jets. That's the point I'm trying to make. Guy went to football in Siberia, and you're like, his QBR was 53. Joe Montana in his prime, Tom Brady in his prime, QBR might have been 70 on that team. They suck. The Jets are awful.
70's a good QBR.
You're talking total QBR, not the original, I guess.
Their O-line injuries derailed them, by the way. They were okay, but took 26 sacks and 145 pressures. So injuries really killed that O-line. Yeah,
I was going to say, I thought they had solid pieces on that O-line. And
yeah, they had, I will say, I'll give you credit. They had an 87.2 PFF pass blocking efficiency rating, which was 7th in the NFL. So it's not terrible, nothing to be ashamed at. That's for sure.
So the fact of the matter of what I'm going to say is I could put my foot in my mouth with this, right? But if you look at the advanced numbers, if you look at what's more there than just, Aaron Rodgers had similar stats to Josh Allen, yeah, that's a great argument as a Steelers fan. But you look deeper. He's butting heads with a great young receiver like Garrett Wilson. He had a horrible QBR. A team passed on him for a reason. A team that hasn't had a quarterback for just as long as the Cleveland Browns.
He didn't have Mike Tomlin. Everything you said, listen, Mike Tomlin runs a really tight ship. He's
Aaron freaking Rodgers, Erik. He's a nutcase.
That'll be interesting how that locker room is handled. But I'm telling you right now that comparing him on the Jets and what he could get away with, and that's not going to be the same case with the Steelers.
Hey, you could be totally right, but this to me looks like a ticking time bomb. It did when he started getting rumored there. It does now when you start looking at the numbers. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And
I hope you're not. I hope you're right.
No, I hope you're right too. But I also think you're a little bit of a hater when it comes to the Steelers because they're the Steelers. Rightfully so. We all hate the Steelers on some level. But there are, I don't know what the opposite of rose-tinted glasses are. Shit-tinted glasses, I guess. When you look at the Steelers, we're talking about a team that since you were in utero has not had a losing season. So for you to go, they suck and they're out, they're going to win 3 games is insanely ludicrous and asinine.
Noah in utero.
First of all, I said that they're going to be 9-7 or 8-8 or whatever the math is on that. 9-7.
There's 17 games, Noah.
9-8 is on 8.
9-8, 9-8, 8-9. Sorry, the 17 and 16 game season thing.
It
still
does throw you out a bit. I'll give you a break on that. Question:
You're saying,
but it is important. Just a quick side note: is your QBR when you're quoting QBR stats out of 100 or out of 158.3? That's
100.
Okay, because it is the new. Because I said it's QBR would be 70. You're like, that's a good QBR, and I was like, yep, something's off.
I was thinking of 158 too. That's interesting.
Thank you.
That's I had it flat. I'm using the ESPN QBR when I talk about this.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to add real quick, John, is you talk about me having rose tinted or shit tinted glass, whatever the hell came out of your mouth with that analogy. You guys do the reverse, and I get why you do the reverse with Mike Tomlin. But I'm not buying into that.
You mean we're objective journalists on our sports
I'm being
show?
Objective too. I'm putting numbers in front of your face that tell you why
fair.
this is good.
No,
you're just like, no, it's the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's there, so they're gonna go 9-8, and they might.
The numbers
totally fine. They might.
We go on historic performance,
go ahead, E.
and what he's done. Listen. It's not that we're putting Mike Tomlin on a pedestal. We've talked about his issues. We've talked about his in-game management issues. We don't even need to go down that argument. What we base our take on is how he's run the Pittsburgh Steelers organization and what they've done. We've seen it. We've seen that they cut the fat real quick when there's ever an issue, and that he controls that locker room.
Yes.
So to say that you think it's going to go otherwise, there's no historical precedent for that. That's the issue with the tape.
That's literally what I was going to say too. When we're throwing stats at each other, your stats are based on QBR when Aaron Rodgers played for the Jets, which I think is a subpar team. Our stats are, what have the Steelers done for 20 straight years without fail? We have a long list of history that we can cite to say, here's why we think the Steelers aren't going to suck, even if I'm not calling them Super Bowl contenders. But they made a small improvement at quarterback. They'll make a small improvement in wins. You're saying, well, he stunk with the Jets last year, so he'll stink again because he's old. We got more track record. You could still be right, but that's where my argument's coming from.
And by the way, a small improvement on what was a playoff team.
What was a playoff?
The playoffs.
You bet.
I don't think he's an improvement. I think he's Russell Wilson 2.0. I don't think it does anything for them. And I think he's also a head case where Russell Wilson's head case is, he's a little corny because he walks out like he's a superstar listening to music, clapping the crowd up like he's the next best thing.
What was the Denver thing? Let's roll or whatever? Let's ride.
Country. Let's ride. Yeah.
He's so cheesy.
I'm really curious to see how the AFC North plays out this year with us having a quarterback gauntlet, but having good vibes in terms of stuff like we talked in our last segment. The Steelers trying to rehash another old quarterback. The Ravens looking like us in terms of the Cavs, where they get to the playoffs, they look really damn good, and then they fizzle out. And then, of course, the Bengals with the best offense arguably in football and the worst defense arguably.
Do you guys? So I put the Ravens as the premier, top of the AFC North. Do you guys think that the Bengals or any team for that matter can challenge them in that?
Yeah.
I don't. Not at this juncture of what I know with all the teams, with what the Bengals record did. John, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy. I'm just feeling fiery right now. With what the Bengals did last year, with how I feel about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback.
So you think they're far and above going to run away with the division?
13 win team perennially, and the AFC North winner this year. Yeah.
John?
To answer the question, if I had to bet, I think I still bet on the Ravens, but your question specifically was, can the Bengals and Steelers compete or challenge them? And the answer to that is absolutely. You're talking about a Steelers team that's never had a losing record, made the playoffs last year, and I think improved a little bit at quarterback. It's at least going to be a tough out. That's a rivalry game when they play the Ravens. And the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, 4 years ago, with a defense that was better than this one, but not great. They still got all the offensive weapons, and if everybody stays healthy, you got to at least think that Joe Burrow can ball out. I mean, they balled out last year on offense. You're talking about a guy who got MVP votes with a losing record because he played so well at quarterback. If their defense could stop a nosebleed, that team is going to present a bunch of challenges for a lot of teams this year too. So we'll talk more once the season's here about like what exactly we think in terms of record. But here and now, can the Steelers or Bengals compete with the Ravens for AFC North supremacy? You bet your ass they can. They can flat out win the thing.
Can I make a crazy prediction right now?
Go for it.
I think the injury bug is going to hit Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have some type of season-ending injury. He's slippery as hell, but it's a position where, how he plays quarterback, I think it's been coming. And I think that will open it up a little bit.
Could. It definitely could. The other thing I'll say is I'm glad you asked about the regular season, not the postseason, because the Baltimore Ravens are the Cleveland Cavaliers of the NFL. They're going to look great.
I know I said it, yeah.
They're going to look great in the regular season, and then you're going to get to the end of the year, and we'll see.
It's an echo in here. But to be fair, it's our argument with Pittsburgh with the Ben Roethlisberger teams. You're going the wrong way, John. But Pittsburgh ran into Patriots at their prime. They ran into the Chiefs. And I feel like that same thing can be said for Baltimore. They're running into the Chiefs at their prime, Buffalo, etc. So I don't know if we put bad playoffs squarely on the shoulders of that team.
That's fair.
That's funny.
Royal Havana in the comments has been absolutely on fire, in case either of you haven't got a chance to read them. Some of them I can't put up on the screen, but they've been absolutely fantastic nonetheless.
Please tell me that's in reference to Miles saying that what's his name used a racial slur. That's got to be right, because you get it right, Jussie Smollett.
Yes.
Noah doesn't get it. So Jussie Smollett was this actor on Empire, and he was they were based out of Chicago. They filmed there, and he decided that he was going to. So news came out that he was mugged in Chicago. He was out really late one night. Two guys in MAGA hats mugged him and put a noose around his neck. Mind you, this is a gay black man, put a noose around his neck. He feared for his life, obviously, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it very quickly changed into he paid two guys to do that. He was trying to garner sympathy to basically get a pay raise and be this national news anti-MAGA guy. So Jussie Smollett, or Juicy Smollett, as what's his name calls him in the stand-up special.
Williams?
No, the guy from Dayton. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Dave Chappelle?
Thank you, Chappelle. He completely made it up. He's blacklisted, etc. Obviously, even went to jail for a little bit because he lied to like FBI investigating this thing. So anyway, I think what that comment was getting at was Miles saying that Mason Rudolph uttered a racial expletive, which is what caused him to hit him over the head. And obviously, there's been no proof. Whatever. I don't know where you guys fall on that, but. Funny comment.
It is, and after all of that explanation, Raul chimed back in to say, "No, I meant asking to be traded." That was the reference. So,
well, Raul, you had a much funnier comment than you intended.